Who's coming?
Great show tonight.
Who?
Have you ever watched a season premiere and thought, okay, that escalated way faster than I expected? Because that's exactly what happened in episode 1 of the Vampire Lestat. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. By the end of the episode, we've got a drug-fueled vampire rock concert, a supernatural attack, a mysterious rescue, a major public exposure of vampire secrets. And then, right when you think things can't get any weirder, Lestat reveals that the person he's been desperately texting all episode isn't Louis, it's Gabriella. Yeah, and if you're not familiar with Anne Rice's books, that final reveal probably left you staring at your screen wondering, wait, who exactly is Gabriella? And why is Lestat acting like she's the most important person in the world? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today, because episode 1 isn't just introducing a new chapter in Lestat's story. It's setting up the emotional heart of the entire series. And trust me, Gabriella is a much bigger deal than she first appears.
I've come to kill you. I have the blood of a car shot.
The ultimate rock star ego trip. Before we get to that massive Gabriella twist at the end, we've got to talk about how we even got here. If you watched the finale of Interview with the Vampire Season 2, you remember Lestat de Lioncourt was left lingering in the ruins, looking pretty miserable after his dramatic reunion with Louis. But come on, this is Lestat we're talking about. He was never going to just sit in the dark and pout forever. He has a bottomless pit of needs, a massive craving for love, and an over-generous musical gift. He was always going to overindulge and make a spectacle of himself. But the real catalyst for his rockstar era, pure, unadulterated spite. Daniel Molloy's book officially hit the shelves, and it painted Lestat as this sloppy, self-absorbed, mayonnaise sociopath. Ouch. Lestat took that incredibly personally. He hates to hide, and he absolutely loathes being misunderstood. He looks at Armand's charismatic romantic portrayal in that book and goes, oh hell no, I'm going to show the world who the real god is here. So, flash forward 2 years before the book launch. Lestat is living this cozy, lavish life in Montreal. He's actually doing okay, awkwardly fast-timing Louis, asking him to come visit and pick out a painting for the guest room. It's Halloween night, and across the street, there's this totally off-key garage band called Satan's Night Out, annoying the neighborhood. Normally, a 265-year-old vampire wouldn't care, but the moment Lestat finds out Louis blurted out their entire life story to a writer, he snaps. He blows through the front door of this random garage band, gives the lead singer, Larry, an unhinged lesson on how to actually pick a key, and entirely blows them away. He hijacks the band, renames them the Vampire Lestat, and decides to play a fake vampire on stage. It's the ultimate hidden in plain sight move, kind of like the old Theatre des Vampires days. But here's the crazy part. To pull this off, his fiercely loyal manager, Christine Claire, actually hires a human body double named Jarda Klapek, a former bricklayer from the Czech Republic. Lestat uses Jarda's background to weave this quirky lie that he came from nothing, pretending to be a human actor just playing the vampire from Daniel Molloy's book. It's a brilliant cover, but it's killing him inside because he still isn't telling his absolute truth. The auction and the failures. Now, the show actually opens in a really weird, cool way with an exclusive high-stakes auction. And the room is packed with familiar faces. We see Armand wearing an eye patch, Louis missing a leg, and that shady Talamasca agent Raglan James all bidding frantically. Seriously, what did Lestat do to them? It's highly likely that their missing limbs are a direct result of the absolute global mayhem caused by Lestat's rock tour, because in the Immortal universe, nobody ever really moves on. They are all bidding on Lot 1, which is supposed to be the complete works of Lestat, his 2025 self-titled album, handwritten scores, the whole deal. But in classic Lestat fashion, he has the whole lot incinerated right before the bidding starts just to hear the weak-stomach people gasp. It's pure theatrics. The real prize is Lot 2, a gorgeous 1978 Ferdinando Maccani sideboard containing a magnum of Lestat's literal blood and a single pressing of 111 audio albums he calls The Failures. This audio is Lestat's self-narrated, omniscient history of his 54-city tour and the catastrophic aftermath that followed. And when I say catastrophic, I mean it. The show hints that Lestat's music opened the door to something called the Great Conversion, a massive existential shift where the number of vampires skyrockets globally. But even weirder, it's somehow tied into a real-world evolutionary freak show where the Y chromosome starts wiping out across continents, threatening male existence entirely. Talk about an escalating crisis. To document this insane ride, Lestat actually personally requested none other than Daniel Molloy, now a newly fanged two-time Pulitzer winner, to direct his tour documentary. Why? Because who better to refute the book than the guy who wrote it? Lestat wants the world to admit they were wrong about him. He basically tells Daniel during an interview, "Facts are irrelevant. feels are everything. And that line is the key to the whole show. Just like Lewis's version of the past wasn't the absolute truth, Lestat's isn't either. It's all about how they felt.
Well, allergies are delusional.
Anatomy of a stage breakdown. This brings us to Detroit. 2 nights straight in a sold-out venue, and Lestat is soaking up the obsessive frenzy. But under that smug, godlike exterior, he is incredibly sensitive to rejection. During the show, a random vampire in the crowd sends him a telepathic diss about his track, Long Face. That tiny seed of insecurity grows, and it gets way worse when Larry, the original lead singer who is miserable about being pushed to the background, defies Lestat on stage. Larry takes over the song Black Licorice 2 nights in a row, and our diva Lestat completely breaks down. But it's not just a normal rock star tantrum. This breakdown cracks open the vault of ghosts he's been violently hiding from. Claudia, Louis, all the people he's loved and lost. He channels that agony into his violin, elevating a corny rock track into a live, primal masterpiece. His fangs come out, his true vampire nature takes over, and the crowd is too mesmerized to realize they are looking at a literal monster. In the middle of this chaos, a heavily drugged-out groupie named Baby Jenks offers herself up. Lestat feeds on her ride on stage, but he accidentally gets severe blood poisoning from whatever hallucinogenic cocktail is in her system. The last time he had blood poisoning, Louis and Claudia were trying to murder him with arsenic, so he panics. Luckily, this mysterious Dr. Farid steps in and saves Baby Jenks. But while Lestat is tripping out, he sees Baby Jenks' soul floating on the ceiling, predicting a horrible, violent death for everyone in the room, including Daniel Molloy. Is it a real psychic prophecy, or just Lestat's broken, lonely subconscious talking to him? Honestly, it's probably Lestat. He's terrified that even billions of screaming fans will never fix the endless void in his heart.
The Fang Gang.
You want to see a real vampire bar? Come with us.
Enter the Fang Gang and an old friend. After the concert, Lestat tries to recover at a hotel grand opening hilariously named Dracula's Daughter. He's just trying to take a rare bathroom break, wash some blood off with Chardonnay, and feel good again. But his night gets completely crashed by 2 local Brightmoor vampires, Tim and Russ. They invite him to a coven party, but it's totally passive-aggressive. These guys are traditionalist, extremist vampires who think Lestat's rock career is outing their species and putting everyone at risk. They call themselves the Fang Gang, which, let's be honest, is a terribly corny name, and they want to teach him a permanent lesson. Lestat is way too drugged up, exhausted, and distracted to fight off a whole coven. He ends up in a massive, bloody brawl. Luckily, the Talamasca is watching out for him. They send reinforcements, and Lestat is rescued by Daniel Molloy and a cryptic vampire DJ wearing a helmet. When the helmet comes off, we get a massive lore drop. The DJ is Sam Barclay. If you remember Season 2, Sam was the vampire scriptwriter from Armand's coven who acted as a mole for the Talamasca. He's the guy who gave Daniel the information to expose Armand's lies about the trial at the Theater to Vampires. It turns out Sam survived the fire, and he just saved Lestat's life. But right before the rescue, Lestat catches a glimpse of a tattoo on one of his attackers. It says, Armand was telling the truth. Wow. So a huge chunk of this local coven were total fanboys of Armand, fully believing his lies that he was the one who saved Louis at the trial. The drama in this universe literally never sleeps.
Prove it to you now. How it felt then.
Who is Gabriella? The shocking ending explained. This brings us to the final, wildest scene of the episode. Lestat escapes the bloodbath by smashing through a glass window. How dramatic can you get? And ends up hugging a toilet in a shabby motel room, looking like the ultimate defeated rock star. Throughout the entire episode, we saw Lestat sending these desperately flirty, cryptic texts to someone anonymous. Daniel even teases him about it, mentioning that he heard Louis was back in the States. So naturally, the show wants us to think he's begging Louis to come save him. But when the door finally opens, it's not Louis. Lestat looks up and gasps, Gabriella. So who is she? If you haven't read Anne Rice's books, get ready, because this relationship is incredibly complex. Gabriella is Lestat's birth mother. Back when Lestat was immortal in France, he had a deeply profound, intense bond with his mother. She was the only one who truly understood his artistic, rebellious soul. When she was dying of a terminal illness, Lestat couldn't bear to lose her, so he made the extreme choice to turn her into a vampire. But here's where the Immortal universe gets very unconventional. Once they both became vampires, their relationship evolved into a highly intense, centuries-long dynamic that definitely crosses traditional moral boundaries. Lestat doesn't care about human morality. He believes love transcends everything, and he will grasp onto anyone who genuinely validates his existence. Gabriella is strong, cold, fiercely independent, and one of the few beings on Earth who can truly match Lestat's energy. He wasn't reaching out to a lover. He was reaching out to his maker, his anchor, the only person he trusts when he's completely broken and hitting rock bottom. But by calling her to Detroit and accidentally exposing his vampire identity to his band and the partygoers before fleeing, Lestat has officially crossed the point of no return. The great laws have been shattered on a global scale. and the consequences are going to be absolutely catastrophic for the undead and the living alike. So what did you think of Gabriella's grand entrance? Do you think Louis and Armand are going to show up to stop Lestat's tour, or are they too busy dealing with their own missing limbs? Drop your wild theories in the comments below. I want to read all of them. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode explanation this season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.